time is up. Got it. Good heads up play. Through the house. Number 2 through the house. Good heads up play.
We are closing in on football season, and I say that because it feels like every day is another day closer to the folks putting the pads and helmets back on and getting after it. Theo Dorsey with ESPN Top 63. I'm joined now by Collin O'Neal, who is the newly minted head coach of the Boca Raton Bobcats. First and foremost, how did you end up putting yourself in line to be a guy to take over a program that went 9-1 last season and over the past 3 or 4 seasons has been on a steady incline?
Yeah, last 4 years or so, I've been over at Cardinal Gibbons under Matt DeBuck. We know the kind of program he kind of created over there. 3 state titles. They're looking to get back in that race here in the next coming years. Just kind of been under him and Dave Montiel over there, more so on the defense side. I learned a lot of things from both of those guys, additional coaches on the staff as well. I think that kind of set me up for this position in terms of my first head coaching gig, and I'm excited to get it underway.
Would it being the first head coaching gig, and then it's also your first experience technically in the 561 in Palm Beach County in football, how much are you taking from your experience maybe playing against Palm Beach County teams or maybe other coaches that you knew before who know the 561 area and landscape? Because it is a little bit different than Broward or Dade.
Yeah, last, I want to say 3 years, we actually played Boca Raton. We played them there twice and at home last year. So I'm kind of familiar with the team, the athletes, some of the guys that stayed, in terms of playing Boca. With other schools, I know in our district, Spanish River, Stoneman Douglas, I'm not too familiar with. But I have some guys that I've spoken with, some other coaches that's kind of filled me in of the talent they have, the schemes they kind of have, with the coaches that stayed. And I know some schools have some new coaches over there. So I've just kind of been laying it out, researching them, seeing what kind of film is out there that I can watch in the meantime.
Now, you were a college quarterback. You got a lot of experience on the defensive side of the ball. As in your first role as head coach, how do you see yourself, taking over? Are you going to be calling the plays on offense and defense? Have you, already delegated some of that out to the staff you brought in? Like, where are you at with the mental side of it?
I'm in the process right now of naming hopefully an offensive coordinator. I have a couple lined up that I'm still interviewing. Me as a head coach, I'm going to call the defense side of the ball. I'm going to give me some assistance on that side, but I'll be calling the defense and I'll hand the offensive reins over to one of the guys that I'm interviewing in the process now. So hopefully we'll have that nailed down in the next week or so.
That's a heck of a good way to get an offensive coordinator, though, is to be able to let them know you will have the play calling duties as well. Is there a reason for that for you particularly? You kind of fell in love with the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I was recruited as a quarterback, ultimately moved to slot receiver. And so I've mostly all my career been on the offense side of the ball. With Gibbons, I was transitioned to the defense side of the ball under Dave Montiel. And I really just fell in love with the scheming against offenses when they run certain things. It's easier for me to process it pretty quickly and kind of set up the defense in a way that hopefully they're successful. It just comes a little bit more easier to me, I guess I would say, picking up on schemes and what they're lining up in or what they're trying to do. And it's just a fun way for me to try to stop it.
Tapping in here with Coach Collin O'Neal, heading into his first year as the head coach for the Boca Raton Bobcats, taking over for Coach Savanikas, who just took off after 2 years in Boca. I'm curious for you, though, part of being a head coach, especially in high school these days with all of the movement, is being a good evaluator of talent. Now, when you was playing D2 football, you just let me in before we started this interview on a certain speedy wide receiver who you actually faced at West Alabama at the time, which is Tyreek Hill. I'm just curious, when y'all played them and you saw that brother go, did you know instantly he's going to be in the pros one day?
Oh, man, yeah, it was something special. Now, our defensive scheme actually held him, I think only to 4 catches, but he had 1 catch, I want to say, for about 20 yards. And once he turned on the other gear, everyone was like, oof. You kind of knew he was special just with the ball in his hand. He was out back there at punt return. And, I kind of think everyone in the stands and on both sides of the team knew that he was going to be something special in the NFL.
Now, taking, part of that as well as your journey through high school, through Division II football, changing positions and all of that, and then also changing sides of the ball and coaching, you're kind of showing an ability to be able to adapt, to be versatile. How do you take all of those experiences and then use them to help kids that are going to be walking into your locker room, listen to you, but then also know, hey, this is a guy that was able to do some of the same things that he's asking me to do on the field?
Yeah, I think you said it right there. It's the ability to adapt. High school ball. Some of your guys are going to play both ways. Some of your guys are going to play both ways in all special teams. Unfortunately they have to be out there on the field and learn not one position but multiple positions. And it's just a way to adapt. Get these kids knowing that it can be done. It's not asking too much of you. It's asking for the betterment of the team. And you may have to learn another position or something like that, and it's okay. Whatever it takes for as a team to be successful.
How much, when you talk about, like, I know you're kind of new into the job, right? So you're not like fully acclimated with what you're going to have there, but from what you've seen and from what you know off of the film and whatnot, how much, talent do you expect from this roster that'll be playing on Saturdays in the next couple of years, that's still stuck with Boca Raton? Because I also know, again, high school football right now is kind of a revolving door.
Yeah. But I've been out there the last 2 weeks now since I've gotten it. We're gonna be all right. We got some guys that are gonna play. We got some guys on that team that definitely can play at the next level. It makes my job easier when you have those kind of guys. It's about setting them up in the right positions and where they can be successful, and just at the end of the day, let your athletes play ball. They're out there, and just let them do what they love, and just setting them up in those good scenarios or those good situations on the field for them.
Obviously, you had to sell yourself to Boca Raton, but what about the Boca Raton Bobcats sold themselves to you? Because I'm sure you were a coaching candidate that had multiple options.
You know what? What sold me the most is I played against Boca the last 3 years, like I said, and we got the better of them at the end of the day. But they're a program who's coming off back-to-back district titles. The hunger's there, the talent's there, the kids are there, and they want it. I think they're wanting a little more. They want the district title again this year, and they want to go and make some noise in the playoffs. And I think with the talent they have, with the heart that these kids have, and I've seen it when I played them 3 years, especially those kids that stayed. I think they're capable of making some noise in the playoffs, and that's what we're coming to do. I hope we can continue to win that district title this year for a three-peat and go into the playoffs ready to roll.
This next question, Coach O'Neal, is more of a strategy question. I love asking, especially high school coaches, this because it gives me a peek into what your thoughts are on what's important on the field. If I were to tell you you have a 5-star prospect on both sides of the ball, you get to pick any position to have a 5-star prospect that on defense and on offense, only caveat is on offense, you can't say quarterback. What 2 positions are you going with?
Oh, I like this. Never thought about that. I would say on the offense side of the ball, 5-star receiver. You can do a lot of things with that kid at receiver, move around, motion them, put them in the backfield. And then on the defense side of the ball, I'll say linebacker. I'll say the heartbeat of your defense. I know a lot of people like the safeties or the DB. I think, you have a guy in the middle that's the heartbeat of your defense and can stuff the run and also be athletic and get back there in the coverage. I think that'd be what I would go with.
I love those answers. You're actually one of the first coaches to say receiver, and I would have thought receiver would be the one as well in high school because of exactly what you said. I think some coaches might be wary that you got to get the ball to him, but that's where your creative offensive juices come in, where you scheme him open or you get him the ball in the backfield. Just curious, what type of, like, just for people that, aren't as in it, think of like an NFL comp of a receiver that you feel like is so versatile but then so good that can work in any offense. The first one to me that comes to mind is, like, if you have a CeeDee Lamb, ability-wise receiver, not maybe a Justin Jefferson, but CeeDee Lamb, good, ran after the catch. You can do so many things with him, and he can route folks up and take it down the field. Who would you think is a good NFL comp that, as a receiver in high school, it doesn't matter what you have around him?
I was gonna say Justin Jefferson. That's
Probably right.
yeah. I'd say Justin Jefferson. I think CeeDee Lamb's a great one. I would even say as far as Jamar Chase as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's a guy, it's like, again, you could a slant, a screen, anything. You just like, hey, get the ball in his two hands
In
and
his
then the rest
hands.
will, yeah.
Yep.
For you, man, just last thoughts here. You have a successful first season at Boca Raton High School if what happens?
Um, if myself and my coaches prepare them, if we prepare these kids, obviously, again, they're coming off 2 district titles. They're more than capable. It's if me and this coaching staff can have them prepared and keep on bringing the juice.
Good luck on the coaching search as you're looking to fill out your staff, and then also enjoy a little bit of the time with the fam and yourself, man. And I appreciate you taking our time, Coach O'Neal.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, Dorsey. Thank you.